What's up, guys? I'm Caden with Crypto Now or Never, and welcome back to another market update. If you enjoy this style of content, please do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. As always, none of this is financial advice. Let's get into it.
I have a dream, that's all I need. I'll make it happen with some work and belief. Know what I want.
Okay, so I just want to start out by taking a quick look at CoinMarketCap. So honestly, you can see that the market as a whole is still very indecisive. Bitcoin is back under 115,000 and Ethereum is back to 4,500. And I know this seems like quite the spike since my last market update, however, it's been dropping over the last day or two. Just to kind of show you guys what I'm talking about, if you look at the Ethereum chart, you'll notice that we actually had a very nice spike a few days ago. And we got a very clear breakout above the 21-day moving average. However, the last 3 days we've just been bleeding. Now, whenever we did have the breakout, I was pointing out though that the RSI and stochastics were getting overbought. Oftentimes when that happens, it leads to a pullback. In addition, we were heading into a weekend, and weekends are almost always low volume. It's usually pretty rare for us to pump over a weekend. Is it impossible? No, it's not. But usually we are not going to pump over a weekend. Now, some of these indicators though are very strange right now. For example, if you look at the Fear and Greed Index, you can see that we're back to 51, which is neutral. And if you look at the altcoin season indicator, you can see that we're 69 out of 100. Based on this altcoin season indicator right here, you would assume that a lot of altcoins are doing very well. However, the reality is that a lot of altcoins are not doing very well. It's really only the high caps. Just to show you guys what I'm talking about, for example, if you come down here and click on BNB, you can see that BNB actually reached an all-time high 1 day ago at $944. If you click on Ethereum, you can see that Ethereum broke its all-time high not long ago. Ethereum broke its all-time high 22 days ago, $4,953. However, if you back out of this and you go over to like the meme coin market, for example, you can see that a lot of meme coins are down significantly. Ethereum broke an all-time high 22 days ago. If we click on PEPE, you can see that PEPE hasn't broken all-time highs for 9 months. And you can see that it's actually down 61.9%. And what's interesting about PEPE is it is usually a very good Ethereum derivative. However, you can see that it clearly has not been breaking out with Ethereum. If we back out of this and we click on Shiba Inu, you can see that Shiba Inu is actually down 85% from its all-time high. Now, will Shiba Inu ever break all-time highs again? That's up for your own interpretation. Only time will tell in that regard. But regardless, being down 85% is a huge number. And just to be clear, it's not only meme coins that are like this. For example, you scroll down a little bit and you click on something like Hedera Hashgraph. You can see that Hedera has not broken its all-time high for 4 years. It's down 58.9%. Even if you click on something like SWI has not broken its all-time high for 8 months. It's still down 33.9%. And SWI has been very popular this entire cycle. So I just want to make sure you understand that it really is only the high caps that are breaking out. So seeing the altcoin season indicator at 71 out of 100 is kind of crazy. But in general, what it means is that profit rotation just hasn't really happened yet. For example, I just want to show you guys Ethereum on the weekly time frame because it's easier to see. If you actually zoom out and take a look at the Ethereum chart, it basically has been breaking out since April. We did have this little consolidation phase throughout May, but since April, it's basically just been a moonshot. So think about it if you're an Ethereum whale. Why would you rotate out of a chart that looks like this? Now, you could argue that you might want to sell at resistance, and you could argue that that did actually happen. And that's why we potentially have put in a double top. Now, do I personally think Ethereum is done pumping? No, I do not. At least in terms of this cycle, I personally don't think we're going to double top. Is that guaranteed? Obviously not. That's completely my opinion. I do want to point out that obviously we did break all-time highs, and this was the highest weekly close that we've ever had. But just purely from a macro TA standpoint, you could argue that this is a macro double top. So I would like to see how this plays out. As I've been saying for a long time, I would love to see us hold this 4,100 to 3,800 range. If we can hold this range, then I think that could be very bullish. Something that you might want to prepare for is the idea that price action could consolidate until the 21 weekly moving average starts to catch up, because you can see that price action is still way above all of the moving averages. And these moving averages eventually will work as magnets. It's inevitable that price action will eventually come back down and retest them. Now again, does that mean price action has to drop a lot? Not necessarily. We also could just see consolidation for a while. However, where things really get interesting is that the next FOMC meeting is in 2 days. This is the main reason I'm making this video. You have to understand that. September 17th, that's the date. And right now the projections are like 90% that rate cuts do happen. Now to be clear, we do oftentimes see buy the rumor, sell the news. So you need to understand that that is absolutely a possibility yet again. But historically, rate cuts have been very good for risk on assets. And obviously crypto is a risk on asset. So if rate cuts happen, then I would expect it to be very bullish for the long term. So it's very important that you understand this. And then just understand that right now we still have not seen a lot of profit rotation. Truthfully, it is only the high caps that are doing well right now. A lot of the low caps are still down significantly. For example, if you just look at a lot of projects that we cover on this channel specifically, a lot of them are just major consolidation. You can see Mr. Megals is consolidating. You can see that Cocoro is consolidating. You can see that Captain BNB is consolidating. But honestly, that's about it for the update today. If you guys are interested in market updates and just getting into projects super early in general, then I always recommend you take a look at my Discord as well. As a lot of you guys know, we've been printing in here this entire cycle. Some of these projects, $1,000 investment could have turned into over $200,000. And I personally believe that we're just getting started. So if this is the kind of community that you'd like to be a part of, you can find the link right here on my YouTube homepage. And it'd be a blessing to have you in here with us. But that's about all. Let me know down in the comments where you think the market's heading in the foreseeable future. If you found this content enjoyable, please do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great rest of your day.